the Tourism and Arts Commission meeting for, gosh, 21st, Monday, October 21st. And we have full attendance, so everyone in order. First item of business is approval of minutes. From June 25th, July 15th, and 26th. Did we need to do these all individually, Jennifer?
You can do them all as one lump, and even if we have changes, we can make changes to certain ones and then just do them all as one and just say as amended.
As amended, okay. Did anyone have any corrections of the minutes as they stand in the packet?
I did not.
I did not either.
I had a typo, but I don't know if I can find it right now. And it's not significant. It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't change it.
It just sort of whether you sound like you graduated from the third grade or not.
Okay. Jackie, Drea, any changes?
None.
Nope.
Nope. Okay,
Because we just need a motion.
just need a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes as they are written.
I'll second.
Okay. Those in, we have to do a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Perfect. There goes 3/4 of the packet. Item number 2 is the TAF grant application for Sea Turtles Forever.
And I said in the email that Ashley said we were on the exact path.
Yeah,
So she is 100% agreeant that he didn't quite show that he met the criteria that we were.
okay, and no communication back from him at all. Okay, okay. So should we open that up for discussion at all, or are we,
Up to you guys, if we want
Yeah.
to discuss it some more.
or are we feeling like,
I would
Have a
probably just doing a motion,
okay,
just to have it on the record,
okay. A motion to
not a word.
not award, okay,
That's the motion I would make, to
okay. Do you want to make,
deny the application.
okay. Those in favor of,
Do we have a second?
oh, and we need a second. I can second, can't I?
I'll second.
Only at the lack of another.
Oh, okay,
I'll second if you need me to.
okay. That's Jackie. To, oh gosh. To deny, is that what you're saying, a grant, or how do we not award? Okay, to not award Sea Turtles Forever their grant application. Those in favor? Aye. Any oppose? Okay. And hopefully they'll
Hopefully they'll find,
find a means to,
because I appreciate what they're doing, but they
Yeah.
just don't fit us.
yeah,
I'll send him an email.
okay,
Just say, hey, this is where we're at, you know, in the future, if you'd like to apply, please look at it as event costs separate from your operational costs. And if you'd like to consider marketing costs, that would be another avenue to go through. Just to
Okay.
kind of help them out a little bit. Yes.
great, thank you. I think that that's perfect. Okay, on to line item 3, reviewing the Tourism and Arts Commission ordinance. Thank you for cleaning up the highlighted and commented.
Or Pink is us.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Ashley's AD.
Oh, of course.
I'm JD.
Okay. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, because that way I wanted you guys to see the comments.
Right.
That she had made.
Okay. That's my concern that applies to all the ones that go to house.
70% of the 1% of the lodging increase from 2010. But we're given a portion of that, or is the 70% isn't what our budget is every year? That's just a
No.
portion.
No, our portion,
70% is us.
Is us, okay, that's what I thought, but it said,
Just that one. Just that one increase from 2010.
Yes, okay.
There have been additional changes.
Several.
We don't see that money.
That's that was my understanding, but Ashley's comment made me question that for a minute.
Yeah, because the first three comments related to that one, because we were saying, she was saying, why'd you put this? We said this is why, and then she says it implies that all the funds go to TAP.
I thought they did. Do they not?
All the funds from the 2010 increase, the 70%,
Funds us.
funds the TAF, the TAP.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure.
there's a disconnect there. I'm not,
Does she understand that? Well, no, she understands that she put it in.
Where is she?
On 2010.
I wonder if she's thinking we split that with the
She
chamber.
didn't put.
No, that was the 2014 increase.
So chamber gets 24.
And that is the TAC or the
Yes.
TDF fund. Designated, whatever, acronym soup, but the budget for the visitor center in the chamber is the 2014 increase.
You keep all
So-
in your head, Greg.
I guess the thing is, do we want to go back and try to convince her to allow it in, or do we want to change the wording a little bit?
I think I like the transparency of,
Well, we were
Putting
talking
out-
about taking it out, like, why are we reiterating what it is, but can we wait till the next time we're talking to her instead of going back and forth with these little notes?
Yeah, the only thing would be is we were trying to get this to go to council.
Oh,
That's, yeah.
So this whole first section, once again, is the way that the current one reads. When I wrote this up, I just took that thing and copied it verbatim
Yeah, and so
from the
this
first
is,
one.
this is for yours.
Pardon?
This is what you sent me?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
just-
but this first, review grants and make recommendations, A, B, C, D, E, and E. That is verbatim the way the current ordinance reads.
Okay, so we can say, hey.
So everything new goes from there below. So, I mean, we can obviously change it, but, it's the way it's been, so.
Like her comment, Ashley is AD, right? That's what you said. So her first comment is, do we want to leave this out instead of making TAF comprised of funds the council is dedicated to support it? Like when the council raised it in 2010, they said, we're raising it for this reason, for TAC. They can't just change that, I mean, they can, but they have to go through a process to do that.
Process.
Yeah. So like in 2014, when they said, hey, we're raising this to fund destination marketing, whether it wasn't the chamber, it was for, we could hire anybody we want, but it's going to destination marketing. If they want to turn around and use it for something else, they'd have to go through a process to change that, right?
That's about how I understand it. Is that right, Jennifer?
Yeah, because I think it would be an ordinance.
Yeah.
This is all changed in ordinance.
Yeah.
So you have to do an ordinance to change it.
So we have to wait, where I'm getting at is we have to essentially follow what the ordinance says.
And this is the ordinance as all this, since you added the stuff below it, this is all as the ordinance reads right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All we were doing was adding to it to make it advisory on a more
Yes.
global scale, per what Bruce sort of asked us to do and council asked us to do.
yeah.
Okay,
So the only thing, just devil's advocate on here, I understand the transparency part of it,
Yeah.
that makes sense. But if we remove that, if council ever wanted to give you additional funds, we wouldn't have to change this ordinance. Because if we leave that in and council ever says, we're gonna give you more money from this location, we would then have to come back and change this.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So maybe there is some benefit of just leaving it as distribution of the tourism and arts fund. Because if you ever got more money, we would only have to change it on their end. We wouldn't have to change it on ours as well.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean,
That's the best argument I've heard so far.
Yeah,
I'm looking at what her last comment, well, it seems outdated. The code provision supplants the ordinance. So it just makes more sense to put all the duties directly into the code.
so that was for that bottom one down here.
Oh,
Yeah, so they ran together, sorry. So the top three go to the first blue,
okay.
and then the bottom two go to that one.
Guess my concern is that it implies that all the funds go to TAF,
that's where yeah.
but it does go to TAF.
I guess But then you're saying it does. But then our committee only gets whatever they've budgeted out of there to spend.
You get the whole thing.
We get that whole 70% from that.
Okay.
particular Increase.
And so we guess what you're gonna get, but we always guess low.
Right.
Because we'd rather guess low and get more money.
Okay,
And then so you'll get like, they're gonna say every year you spend, $300,000 or $400,000, but you're actually gonna get way more than that. So then the next year, your beginning fund balance is gonna be much bigger.
Yeah.
And then we haven't been spending it that much, so they always keep the same amount.
it just in the
It's in the reserve.
okay,
Well,
I'm just,
Reserve.
okay, cause I'm always just looking at whatever they
What-
kind of earmark.
And can I suggest, so Al, here's the problem. So we want this to go to city council. But this becomes a question for city council then. I mean, yeah, we can rewrite it, but it really is a question for council that do you want to keep that 1% and never have it waver? Or are you guys interested in having an opening to be able to give more money to this committee? And then in this case, this needs to be rewritten.
I would advocate taking it out because we've been taking out over the years, all of the rates that were listed in ordinances, we've actually been removing. Because you can adopt things through, like, not this is a little different because this is ordinance stuff, but just general rates in general, tickets, utility rates, things like that are adopted through resolution because it's a lot less of a change than it is an ordinance.
Mhm.
Because an ordinance, you have to post it for 7 days, you have to read it twice by title, and it goes into effect 30 days later. So it's a little easier to take those things out and do them in a different direction. This is already covered in other language from what Greg said, because it's already earmarked for this, so it already exists in our code. By duplicating it in here, if they were to change it, we would have to change it in 2 spots.
So what you would recommend taking out that blue part?
Yes.
District,
Well, it's not the blue.
tourism and arts
Just blue.
staff.
No, I would recommend taking out, which is compromised at the 70% of the 1%.
Right,
That and what she has already taken out.
okay, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, because it already
I get it.
exists basically elsewhere.
Yeah.
So
Because
that
it will be
does,
adopted.
that does give us more flexibility and it gives them more flexibility.
Yeah,
Okay,
So then they only have to, because what could happen very easily, because we don't remember everything, remember what thing is written. So they could increase it at one point in time, but we would have to, if we don't catch it at that same time, we'd have to come back and do another ordinance to change her language.
gotcha.
So it's kind of,
Okay.
it doesn't mean that
Okay.
they're gonna increase it by.
No, that's fine. I guess my thought was the opposite, thinking of everyone thinking that we were in charge of all of it. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Cause they would always be like, oh, well, Taft, da, da, da. Well, no, it's this smaller portion. But yes, if that leads to
More flexibility?
more flexibility, I agree.
Let's take it out. Put a period after Taft. And then, well, no, just not a period after Taft, excuse me, have that run into the next sentence and take out.
So like the chamber doesn't actually have a section in the code for them.
Okay,
That was passed through whatever ordinance exists and then
Okay.
it's just done. So
okay.
they don't have this separate.
No, I'm fine with, I mean,
I need to hit review. The other benefit is the way that stops are going back and forth with Ashley, because I mean, it really, I can
Yeah.
see, I definitely like the transparency, but I can see the benefit of it not being.
yeah, I agree.
And then
Okay,
we
so
didn't
let's
seem to
take
have an
that out.
issue with her policy statements, or is she still recommending we take it out?
No, you're ahead of us. We gotta
Oh,
go
sorry.
down, we gotta go down to the next one that
I'm
she's
sorry.
crossing out.
Okay, so
So, yeah, so that next one. I guess I will admit, I don't know what's in the code, so I don't know what she's saying. She's saying this is a duplication?
she's,
Outdated is what she says.
Yeah. Code provision
Yeah, I
supplants
don't
the
know what that
ordinance.
means.
yeah, so it's the same
There's
as
that.
the other one. It's already addressed in the ordinance. The ordinance that created that one. The one thing coming up that you get is in an ordinance somewhere that says we already get it.
No, I get that, but then she down here, she's taking out this. Written shall ensure the proper implementation of such statutes and directives of the ordinance passed by the city council when adopted. Saying that that's already in the code.
Yeah, Because it should already be in the code, because that's how we were able to collect the tax, because we have a code that said you can collect it. So,
And if the attorney is saying it supplants the ordinance, then I believe the attorney. She knows where it's all written.
And the code says what it will be used for, or the code says that the commission will ensure the proper implementation.
no, I doubt it says those specific words, but it probably says that we're collecting this for the purpose of tourism and arts funds.
It makes more sense to put all the duties directly into the code instead of adding it here in the ordinance.
I'm gonna try to look and see if I can find it. I don't know. The other part is, again, this limits you too, if you have that just saying, we're only. If we kept that in, we would only be implementation of the 1%, and if they wanted to give us more, we would have to then change that also. Let me try to see if I can find it. I gotta be honest, the PLT is probably my weakest on the. As you guys know, I learned a lot the last meeting. Imagine, it's not TLT, it's TRT, right? Transient room tax.
I thought it was TLT.
Transient lodging tax.
It's
Is it written two different ways?
in our, we all call it TLT.
Yeah.
Technically in our code, it says transient room tax.
Room tax.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Drives me nuts
Yeah.
because we all say,
And the county does
Yeah.
it different, the state does it different. I mean, it's,
Everyone has their own acronym. Great.
Oh, more acronyms than that. I left that behind when I got out of Microsoft.
can I tell you my favorite acronyms? I did an RFP for the CMGC for the CBE. And I have a lot of emails with that as my subject line when we were doing the CMG2 process for the CBC, but I also now have one for the CH/PD CMGC. The RFP is out right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, we're in transient room tax.
Sounds like one of those things that's intuitively obvious to the casual observer, given generally accepted standards.
yeah.
Mhm.
In other words, we have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, then.
Okay, I don't know, you don't need to find that. And I just, I understand what's going on and I'm fine then just leaving that out.
Okay, I'm sure it exists, but like I said, this is where one of my biggest weaknesses is, but if Ashley's good with it and Greg is good with it.
I'm good with it. Okay, so the next one down there. When I wrote that, what I was thinking of as an example. I was looking for a policy on purchasing public art. And
Yeah.
found none existed. And so that's where I put that in with the, say, well, we could develop a policy for the purchase of public art.
So at the last meeting or the one before, we switched policy and we removed that from places and just said proposals. Because Ashley was kind of questioning what the policies were for and what was behind it. Yeah, so we went back and we took it out, we took out policy statements and we put proposals. And she just wanted to know what was an example. And so we gave her all of the different examples
She didn't respond.
and she didn't
It must be
respond, so
okay.
he's fine with it.
So are we leaving policy statements in or are we leaving present proposals?
Proposals. Okay, we switched all of the policy statements to proposals. And that was just, she had asked, what would an example be?
Okay.
But we'd taken the other stuff and changed it all to just proposals. Because we're presenting our proposals to council, council can then decide if they want to accept them or not.
Yep.
So we're proposing a policy statement, if in the case of like the arts, the example that I used.
Yes.
We're
So
proposing a policy.
we're gonna propose a program. We're gonna use, because Ashley was kind of questioning the word policy, but we can propose to council that says, hey, this is what we want to do. And council can be like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's adopt it by resolution. And now it's a true policy.
Right.
Because it's adopted through a resolution.
Okay, all right.
So it'll still get us there, but I think gives Ashley a little bit more comfort not using the word policy.
I don't want her to be
Sensible.
uncomfortable.
That's kind of the way I took it, because then when we switch things to proposals, she puts them back in questioning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those were the only, that's that's the end of where we were at with this with her. So what we have kind of planned, if this works well with everyone, I have this set to go to the November work session. I may. Yeah, I think we should keep it on the note. I might need to move things around. So our November work session is getting huge. And so I was looking at things that I might be able to bump up, so it's on a shorter meeting. And this is one of the items, but are people available either November 5th or November 12th that wants to come?
November 5th, seriously.
I know, the 5th, that's actually a horrible thing.
Um,
I might be drinking that night, but sure.
Put it on the 12th, because that is 100% of it.
Indeed.
Because I think everyone's gonna want to get home on the 5th anyways. So if you guys are good with November 12th. Yeah, I forgot about that.
November 12th in the evening?
Yes.
Yes, I'm fine for that.
Okay.
I have a
Yes, I'm
sneaking
joking.
suspicion.
But it is true, because I'm sure everybody's gonna want to get home and
Watch
watch, you
TV.
know.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I have a feeling it's gonna be like the last one. We're not gonna know for a few days.
On both of them,
Mm.
local and not local.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will go and council, we're gonna discuss this with council. Council could say, you know what, I love these, bring back an ordinance, or they could say, let's talk about it, they can interact with us. This council hasn't really sent stuff back. The previous council used to send things back to the Parks Committee, but that was a lot different. That was horses and other issues, you know, that they were trying to accommodate on, but I think you guys have some pretty good language in there.
so you're putting us on the 12th.
I'm gonna put you on the 12th.
Okay, and that's a 6 o'clock meeting?
6 o'clock meeting. I have to put Pacific Power and Maintenance first because we have a bunch of people coming in from out of the area to talk with them. But I don't know quite, I'll try to get, whenever we have people coming in to speak, I try to move them up towards the top.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
2 hours.
and then if they say, hey, this is great, we want to do it, we will actually bring forward an ordinance on December 3rd, which is pretty exciting. Like this could be updated by the end of the year.
Okay,
Right,
cool. Okay,
okay. And next is.
And Julie, I'll join you for a drink on this. Or a bottle.
Reviewing the Tourism and Arts Fund Program Guidelines. Item agenda 4.
So this is what you guys actually are using as your basis when you're looking at the grant applications. This is kind of your guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where if we want to see if we want to make any revisions to the actual guidance in the grants you're looking at now, or do you want to keep things the same? Do we want to clean it up? This has language in here where it says, somewhere in here, it says the off-season would be preference. I can't remember the exact wording. Let me look.
I mean, I think that's still true, isn't it?
Do you want to make it a little bit more, do you want to keep it vague? Do you want to, you know, this is a chance to kind of like, this has not been updated since 2013, so
Yeah.
it's and we don't have to do it today, we're just starting the conversation. But
If we're saying,
I need to read through one more time then with that in mind, because I don't think I think I was skimming, thinking, yeah, except for, do we want to make things more? Yeah. I mean, if we do that, cottage tour will go out. Cottage tour is not in the on-season.
right, or maybe you want to change the wording just a little bit, you know, it's this is the whole document, there's 3 pages of stuff that we could, this is a great opportunity to kind of, you know. But this is also, if we brought up how we distribute the quarterly basis, because our guidelines said it's distributed quarterly. We could add something we talked about briefly, unless there's a surplus, which we can finance in one lump sum, or, you know, leave it where it's both options.
I guess my only thought is if we keep the effort to generate overnight tourists, do we feel that 50-mile thing? I mean, is
That's in the state.
that's in the state law?
Copying with what the state.
Okay. I should know that.
We are. I mean, per guidance from city manager, and I don't know about city council, we are not being as hardcore as we were on the heads and beds.
Well, yeah.
Certainly, we wouldn't be, if we expand this to be like public art or trails or accessibility. You're not gonna judge that by heads and beds.
Yeah,
So,
No, you're not. And I'm wondering if that's really the best criteria anyways, because yeah, we want to support hotels and that sort of thing, but we want to support the restaurants. We want to support the local, galleries and clothing stores and the other shops that we have in town as well. So, it's just if we kind of expand that a little bit, helps.
I guess my bigger question is, has anyone approached the state about changing?
Yes, so, what? League of Oregon Cities is working on discussing to the state of broadening I think it was League of Oregon Cities, was working on broadening the
The,
use of this
Yeah.
DLT.
I mean, that seems like we're in a natural progression to go that route.
I don't know, everything, they did a survey with all the cities about TLT and usage and things like that, because they're working on trying to get it broader. Because you do have a lot of places that don't need the tourism, they need money for other things, and then there's other areas that people just aren't gonna go that they probably need for other items that are not tourist related. So I know the League of Oregon Cities is working.
I mean,
Does the state ordinance specifically specify arts in there as well?
no,
that's us.
That's just us.
No, it's tourism.
Okay, they're just tourism. Okay.
It sort of came at the same time as the arts thing came up, bubbled up in our world, and then there came this, and it's like, well, why don't we just put them together? And so ours
Okay.
became tourism and arts.
Okay,
Interesting.
I mean,
How hard will Orla fight that?
the death.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's come up every couple of years. There's a state representative that wanted to abolish the whole thing and it, didn't happen, but it gets discussed. It seems like every other session. And some getting rid of it, some changing the percentages. But like I said, I mean, it's very obvious that there's places like Cannon Beach that have too much and it's, a good problem to have.
Yeah,
There's others that,
we're on the good part of the stick, that's
yeah,
for sure.
and there's others that don't have enough to all the things they could do and stuff, so.
yeah. I mean, I just,
I know I'm gonna make my trip to Burns, Oregon really quick here, so I'm sure they're doing their marketing.
Yeah, they got a great ranch out there with golf courses.
I chose a bad one, they actually have something. Damn it.
Boardman.
Well, I don't know, that's the state park down there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
probably.
Yeah.
right, state park, oh my.
It is.
hmm.
Yeah, I wonder what's likely of that, because I've always heard that like moving it to 50 instead of 70 would be something that's interesting.
It's never, my personal opinion, it's never gonna work for everybody,
Yeah,
whatever your ratio. I think they should have some type of exception plan. So you say like, hey, look, we want to do this project. It doesn't meet the code, but it's very obvious that it's something that needs to be done and it's not wasteful and blah, blah, blah. But that's just me,
Like a metrics.
yeah,
yeah,
If you fit within this category, you can use the funds for this.
yeah,
If your
Yeah.
hotels are more than.
But we're a long way away from that.
yeah.
yeah. But what's happening is like right now, the county is about to raise the lodging tax again. And for the jail operations and all that, or at least they say they're going to. Unless something changes, it just kind of in a state with no sales tax, it just keeps coming. That's where the purse strings are.
So I thought they were raising it the last time to build the jail, so that was to build the jail.
No, it was the operations of the jail.
This one is for operations.
That's-
Okay,
I mean, I don't know everything that it's for, but it's for the jail again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we have
Oh, yeah.
the next time to do that?
We
Because,
have until your next, we have until the next cycle. We
okay,
would just have to run it through Ashley to make sure that it's stuff to start getting our.
Yeah.
If we wanted to make any changes, this is where they would start.
right, because this is obviously real event focused too, and now we're being asked to pull back and not be as event focused.
And I guess we would, I've read through them, like skimmed through them, but like how, if somebody was gonna do, anything that's art related is always an event. It's an art
It
event.
has been, except
So-
for buying public art, it's
Yeah.
not an event.
Yeah.
So, and
Mobility.
mobility is not an event.
So this is reference to the grants. though.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Oh, the grants.
yeah, so how would, what
Grants.
would an art grant look like if it's not an event? And how would that fly? if
Well,
it's
that's
not
a
an
question
event?
for all of the things we're talking about that are not, that we've been asked to look at from a larger standpoint,
Yeah.
mainly is how would we do that?
Yeah, and if like the public art, that is within this, but if it doesn't fit the ORS, then that would need to have general fund money coming in. So that would be the questions, I guess, with Ashley was, how could you do art that's not event related?
Well, I think your example there is Coaster Theater. I mean, they're not an event, they are a series of plays that they put
Oh,
on.
no, but the funding goes to their special events up to the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But mobility is the
but
same
could
thing.
we- could
also
we
an
help?
event grant.
Right, and so how would that, well, that would be mobility would be, we're saying the mobility is for the tourism.
Which it is.
So, yeah, I don't know, there's definitely, I think when we get into this, we can definitely talk with Ashley and she can say, you know what, hey, that might be a little bit too much of a stretch, or maybe the artwork that's downtown is for the tourists walking on the streets, maybe that's enough for it to fly, right? No, because yeah,
That's where I'm
well,
like,
to the extent that Cannon Beach gets a reputation as an art community,
yeah,
and that draws people in, that's tourism.
yeah, but it also has specific criteria too, that's, you know, so I don't know, we'll see, we haven't gotten, nobody's ever given us a grant application for an art installation, I don't think.
Nope.
So.
Might be about to get one.
Which, great, you know, we can.
Yeah.
Go from there. Okay. And that's one of the things I'll do is just ask Ashley too, because the grant is a tourism and arts fund grant. Yep, so. So, at the department head meeting, Kelly gave us an update on MobiMax. So I was like, hey, can you shoot us some information to share with me? So that is where HVAC and the chamber are on it. So just to kind of share with you, and I let Kelly know that, you know, the commission is very much into this and wants to see this happen. And they're applying for grants, and if they need money, I'm sure they're gonna come and say, hey,
I'm on the accessibility committee and this one, so.
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
kind of overlap.
nice.
And I'm on the chamber board. How did I get on all this shit?
You know, we have support. We'll exhaust it. We have a spot on like designers.
Stop it.
Arts.
Stop it.
just say no, Julie.
I put myself on the accessibility committee and
Yes.
so that one was my fault,
If
but
you
the
want to
other.
wear that big sign on your back that says yes. It would probably help.
They are making good progress and there's a lot of grants out there for sure, but it will definitely have to be a huge collaboration.
Yeah.
Absolutely, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes.
I think this is a great program too, to get everyone working together. I think this is such a neutral. It's a good program to have.
Yeah.
Okay. We have any other?
My only thing is if the city council asks us for, what is your plan to, get ideas from the community or regular people or anybody for, well, we have Karen.
Oh, yeah. Karen's thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another example, it's another good example actually of that. What would we be doing? Because we're not gonna have our meetings like we would normally have had for events. Right, would we have a monthly meeting and then if nobody wants to be on the agenda, the meeting is just canceled?
That's my recommendation,
Okay,
because that
that's-
works right with parks and public works. It's a set meeting every month at a certain date and time. Everyone can plan accordingly, and people who have ideas can put them there. You know, we can even put out flyers and put out mailers, hey, we're sharing your thoughts. You know, we can set up an email address that goes to staff specifically just for that one item that then we can discuss. So there's definitely, Ashley had said before, we can market to get people's opinions and desires, what would you like to see? And if we have set meetings, people can come, they can send a proposal. I love the example of community gardens. When I was in public works, like every year somebody came and pitched the idea of a community
Yes.
garden without clockwork. And it's great, they'd call up, we'd say, okay, here's where the meeting is, and they would come and say, we want this, and we would say, we agree, however, here's the concerns, you know, a little bit different, but just to if we had set meetings, it would open up that opportunity for people. And I do like the idea of us doing some marketing. We had talked about that a couple cycles ago, about doing like a postcard of where would you like to see this go? I don't know that now's the time to do it, but you know. There is,
There's plenty of ideas. Most of them do not apply. The amount of misinformation there is about this stuff out there.
Yeah,
yeah, arts, you know, that's something that we've definitely not been as big on. The arts, because there hasn't been, you know, Karen's was the first one. They've done in Public Works, they did like the bench over there, they restored it, but we haven't done any new art in a long time. And
Tom's gonna take care of that.
and Tom's, and, you know,
My pet project.
yeah, so it's a great thing that we have to start on too. We've
Yeah.
got, you know, we want to focus on some arts. You know,
Okay.
broaden our purview.
So the
We'll have
idea is that we
meetings.
would do that, so if they ask, well, how are you gonna collect that kind of information? We'll have a monthly meeting, it'll be set. Do people have to, is it like city council and they have an agenda, or do they have to say, I want to speak?
They, a lot of times on the smaller committees, people usually, it ends up with a conversation. We say, hey, this would be great for you to come to the meeting, or anyone can show up anyways. We would probably want to start with public comment, just like, Parks Committee and Public Works Committee. So just to be consistent, you have a public comment time, or if we know about it ahead of time, we schedule it as an agenda item.
All right.
And then that person can come and talk, but we would want public comment anyways, just for anybody. Because
I just think city council might ask us that.
Yeah.
And we want to have an idea in place.
And I think this, not just to get public input, but some of these projects you guys want to see grow and do, you know, the Moby Mats and the following up with different things. If we have a set meeting, great, we all know, and if we don't need it, we can cancel it. I once, many years ago, canceled 3 months worth of Public Works Committee meetings because we had no items and not many members. Wow, that only happened once a.
I was gonna say,
Go on, yeah. Well, if we don't have anything, we don't have to meet. So we can just email everyone and say, hey, I have nothing on the agenda. No one's had anything. Have you guys heard anything? And if everyone says no, then we don't have to meet that month.
okay.
I think there's so much stuff and ideas you guys have though. I can see where, you know, we can keep going, I think a little bit better too, because you know, we can think about the guidelines and next month we can just, okay, here's what we thought about and just kind of keep things going.
Okay. Great. We wanted to you want to discuss Karen's email first
Yeah.
and then you go? Or are you?
That's what I want to talk about.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay,
That's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
She, I don't know if she just contacted only me directly or
she emailed.
initially,
I thought she emailed all of us.
She emailed the whole commission
initially?
initially, yes.
Okay. But anyways, I kind of jumped on because the sculpture she's talking about, Steve Jensen is the artist. I know Steve very well, actually. Lynn worked very closely with him when she was on the Bellevue Arts Commission and they worked together on projects and that sort of thing. So I gave Steve a call a week ago, said, hey, you know, here's what's going on. And here's what they're talking about doing. First of all, I just thought, you know, the artist should have some say,
mhm,
you know, but he's all on board. That's fine.
It's okay to be out of the concrete?
Concrete, brass, steel, stainless steel, you know, just anything. He doesn't care. He's fine.
Okay,
I mean, as long as it's a true representation of what he created.
of course, yeah.
Yes, that's the only thing that he's concerned about. He remembered that it was a company called Blue Mountain that gave us a quote to do it in brass. And or bronze rather, and he was remembering that was about $18,000 per piece. I think there's 3 pieces there. And that was more than they wanted to spend, which is why they're going with concrete. He is not aware of anybody who does it in concrete. You know, he said he's never done anything with anybody in concrete, so he doesn't know who that is. So that wasn't anything that he could really help us with, except that he suggested we get in touch with Blue Mountain again and see if they know of anything. Yeah. My other thought on it though was at $18,000 a piece. I think are there 3 pieces? I'm trying to remember if it's 3 or 4 pieces. I think it's 3.
I think it's 3 too.
Yeah, I think it's 3. You know, if that would be something that would fall into our review. I wouldn't propose that we would fund 100% of it. But maybe we could fund some percentage of it and, have parks, somebody else fund the rest of it, or, come from there or something like that. I mean, that's just something to consider and go back to the bronze, because I think, the bronze we know could get done. Number one, it will hold up. Number two, concrete sort of spooks me a little bit, because you start getting a few cracks in that and you get some water creeping in there, and we're gonna be back to where we're at right now with concrete. So that kind of, I mean, there's probably a way of sealing
Was
it. I
that
don't know.
bid done 18,000? How long ago was that?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That was a couple of years ago, so I don't know how it would stand right now. And obviously, bronze is a commodity, so whatever commodity prices are, and I mean, if this was done sometime around 2020, commodity prices were through the roof at that time, and they've
Right.
come down quite a bit, so it might even be cheaper. I don't know, but to see. I mean, we just have to go back and get another quote.
I'd
but-
be interested in getting a vote for that, for bronze first.
Okay.
And then now, did we get something? It seems like something came across my desk that it was about people doing concrete. I agree with you on the concrete because I'm worried about it, but there are people doing interesting things with concrete when they don't look like concrete at all. I'd be interested in, did she send something?
She did, and there was some,
It's not, I'm not losing my mind.
I printed it out just to remind myself.
That she had sent. Like, hey, I found this person who's doing this.
I don't think I received anything on this. I don't know exactly what we're talking about here.
I will forward it to you real quick,
It's
Jackie.
the
Okay, thank you.
Thursday, October 10th. But the earlier email was earlier than that. Oh,
From Karen Labonte,
from Bonte, yeah.
email.
She's taking pictures and it looks like they're.
Yes, I didn't see
I
that.
didn't get anything on it, so I don't know. I didn't
Now, the
receive.
first one that I saw was the 10th, although she said she's resending it, so I didn't see the first one, but that was the first one I saw.
The only one I'm aware of is the 10th, but I'm gonna just forward it to the whole commission again. Oh, you know what? I wonder, I'm going to remove these large
File.
pictures because that could have been what did it. So those files are extremely large. So I'm gonna resend this to the commission without the photos, so you can at least see the text, because that was over 20 megabytes of photos, which could definitely get blocked in somebody's email and not go through, so. And the pictures were of the fisherman
Right,
statue,
that you would drive by every day.
yeah.
So this is what we saw. I could have swore. I thought somebody forwarded me something that showed a concrete company that was doing something like that. It would just be interesting to get a bid for both, just to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And if they could give us some assurance that they have a ceiling
Yeah.
system, a
So
way.
you,
a
no
ceiling
freezing,
that- Not a
freezing.
ceiling, but a way
Yeah.
of sealing it, so that, so that we wouldn't be back into
Can
that.
you contact Blue Mountain for a bid, or does Steve have to do that?
No, we can do that.
Okay,
Was the whale not originally bronze? Is that what
that
I'm
was wood and it's.
It was wood.
and wood.
Okay.
It was poured in bronze.
in bronze? Okay.
Yeah, it was breaking down.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, Steve's first reaction, when I told him what we're dealing with, he says, well, yeah, those things are 20, 25 years old. And,
Yeah,
in this environment, they're gonna
Yeah.
weather. They would, so.
It
I was
doesn't
kind of
make it
surprised when he
better.
said that, because I remember when he started doing those totems and it didn't seem like it was that long ago.
No, I can't believe it was that long ago.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if you do a public art thing. I remember not realizing that they were wood. When she sent this, it's like, I somehow did not guess that they, because I thought, why would you pay for wood sculptures that you know are going to disintegrate? So we paid a bunch of money for art that's gonna disintegrate, and we already know it.
I think that's future consideration.
Yes.
Right.
It's because people who paid for it aren't sitting here today.
Yeah. Okay, I got the new email. Jackie, Drea, did you guys see it?
I have not, hold on.
When you call Blue Mountain, will you ask them if they know of anybody doing that?
There we
Right.
go.
If I know anybody who would know anybody doing concrete.
I don't know, I mean, I know they do interesting stuff in concrete. I mean, they make boats out of
Yeah, I mean,
So somebody must have a way of molding it, but, you know.
I have not gotten that email yet, by the way.
oh. People, I don't know, only people I can think to ask are not people I want to talk to.
Should I try and forward it?
Yeah, if you would.
Okay.
Let me expand just an
I
hour.
don't know anybody.
We're sure you've got the right email, right?
O Brown, right?
Yeah,
Jackie.O.
So I guess the question I go back to Karen with too is, do they feel that these things, I mean, she makes the comment here, you know, that in need of repair if it's even possible. So I guess I'm wondering, are we at the point right now where maybe they should just take them down and put them into storage someplace where they're not exposed to the environment until we can figure out what to do with them, so that they don't deteriorate any further?
Would Steve know that?
Well, Steve would, yeah, he would say,
Take him down.
well, he would say that that's a possibility, but yeah.
Yeah, that would definitely be a conversation with Karen, you know, hey, we are concerned.
But I mean, if they're really that concerned, then, you know, the longer you leave them out there, the worse they're gonna get. So, you know, we take them down and you know, put them in storage someplace where there's, yeah, they're protected from the environment until we can figure out what to do.
Was,
Where would we have storage?
Public Works has a yard.
We're about to tear, well, I don't know if we're about to tear down this building. I don't know where we are with that, but
Yeah, so
you're
Public
gonna be
Works.
putting a lot of stuff in storage.
Yeah. Our Public Works yard has some bays that they have that they might be able to fit those in there. I think some of them may even be heated. So I'm not really positive. So definitely a question for Karen.
It'll be rained in.
There's a big Quonset hut down by the food.
There
where you
is.
can store some-
The roof is great. Too soon. I will email because this goes right along perfect with the conversation of, you know, how can we fund this with the current ORS? Could we do this? And so I'll email Ashley that this afternoon because I have some other emails going with her. Because if she says, yes, this is something we could do and we get a quote, maybe this is something we can actually get on really fast. Because if Ashley says yes, she might say, hey, send it to council, tell them this is what you want to do. If they say yes, you're good to go. And maybe we can get this done in November.
Yeah.
So I will email her and ask. And if you want to follow up with Karen, you know, whether or not if keeping them up would be detrimental to them, I guess would be the question.
Yeah,
And I will find out from Ashley.
or would it make sense just to take them down and put them in storage?
I agree with that. I actually thought they should probably be taken down as well to preserve them. You know, the
Given the
photos,
pics-
they didn't look very good in the photos, that there was definitely quite a bit of deterioration on the wood there.
do we know when they did Baylor's Park Wheel, did that just go through Public Works before? I mean, when they
Most of the work at Will Park all went through parks.
parks,
So the parks budget is general funded.
yeah,
And so that,
okay,
the general fund covers that.
cover
stuff.
that, okay.
There is a public art budget. I was trying to find my
That's right, you said
budget.
it's $25,000 every year.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. So there is a public arts budget also available that it comes from the general fund. So if Ashley comes back and says, you know what, I don't know, we need to still do some more work. That's when we can say to Bruce, like, hey, can we use your $25,000 for public arts? We're almost halfway through the year, you know.
Yeah,
I won't quite get us as far as maybe we wanted to go, but you know, if we can offer up 25,000 and maybe the general fund and the Parks Committee can do the other half of it, you know, there's you know, not play money, but
yeah.
I know.
some,
But there, it's
Wiggle
there in the
room.
budget.
yeah,
Was it spent last year?
No.
Yeah,
not to the best of my knowledge. The last time I remember spending it was when we refurbished the
the bench.
bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't, that normally, because we don't have a public art committee anymore.
Uh-uh.
And that's not a fund I remember. We always make sure we have it in case we ever want it, but we just haven't gotten there.
There you go, there's half the money right there.
I know.
Yeah, and maybe that's what she comes back, because one of the things I asked her about, electric charging stations. I had emailed her because I got a proposal from an engineer about it, and I said, if this is electric charging stations, would that qualify for anything? And so she came back with a list of questions. and sometimes it's like, you could say part of it's for tourism, and so maybe you can use half the funds. So she could come back and say, it is for the tourist to view, so maybe half of it would be justifiable. And if we could do half tourism and half, the 25 grand from the public art, there could be the money there too. We'll see what Ashley
Why
says.
would electric charging stations be 100% tourism?
No, I was just using that as.
Oh, it's an example.
Just an example. No, she had a lot of questions like how long's the life of it,
Oh, yeah.
how, because I don't know anything
You
about.
have to have a
electric
10-year lifespan for sure, but
Yeah.
it's 100% tourism.
Because it's parking, and so we were just kind of looking at options, broad. I mean, this is just a very beginning of a proposal of a feasibility, but I'm like, hey.
It's technology, the life is about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ashley's gonna take my emails later. I
I've-
just definitely know.
I bet.
She's amazing. Very patient with me. So what do you want to talk about our next meeting? And do we want to talk about having a standard date and time for scheduling purposes?
So the purpose of the standard thing is primarily to allow for public comment.
For public comment, and you guys have a lot of ideas that probably need to, to keep going and keep on top of things. If we do get a lot of this stuff going, we probably are gonna wanna touch base a little bit more often. So there's some benefits in that. If we don't need a meeting, we won't have it, but yeah. I wouldn't say that that's the general purpose, but I think that's a large purpose to help the community get feedback from them, but also you guys have some great ideas. And to keep things moving along, we've met every month, you guys have met every month. So you guys met in June, July, August, September, and October, so you guys have been meeting once a month already.
It's just the meetings have moved around.
Yeah.
We stand up for that.
We were the committee that met the least.
That meets the least amount of anyone outside of budget committee, so definitely, yes.
You might not be able to say that.
But you guys also have look at this, look what you guys have accomplished in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
Yeah.
So next month,
Mondays are nice. Third Monday.
third Monday, yeah,
I have 2 employees that day, except for today, of course, but.
Huh.
That's the week of Thanksgiving next month. I don't know if that makes a difference to anybody, but.
actually Thanksgiving is the
Actually,
fourth.
fall, it's so late this year.
Oh my gosh, it's so late.
So late.
So
So
I would
if we-
18th, I'm not able to make it. I'm gonna be out of town, but that's not to say that, that's just me. Sorry.
that Monday, if we were to do it, I would have to put you guys possibly in the conference room. The council chambers is booked that day.
Okay.
So that would be, and if we want to go over the guidelines, that's probably, we do want to all be here. And maybe we wait on setting a set meeting until later, but
Okay.
just kind of come up, especially with the holidays. Because that's really hard. So
Okay.
let's just come up with a date that works for
Right.
everyone. And that week is kind of, we're having CMGC interviews. So it's gonna be a
CMGC.
for CHPD in a response to the RFP.
What is CMGC?
Construction manager, general contractor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna schedule a meeting and not worry about it being every month.
Yeah, and let's get through the holidays.
That's fine. Are you back on the week of Thanksgiving or is that bad for everybody? Am I the only one that?
I'll be out of town.
About Thanksgiving. You'll be out of
Sorry, it's,
Thanksgiving, whatever that
Monday?
Monday through, yeah, 'cause the schools have the whole week off this year.
They do? Oh,
oh, nice. I just
I use that as an excuse.
so that week is,
I just have that,
the week before is bad for this council chamber.
If we stay on a Monday, it is, and
Yeah.
maybe we switch like Tuesday.
yeah, I could do,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's booked, but it's open Thursday and Friday.
Oh, so the 21st or 22nd would work of November.
It's for the council chambers, yes.
I'm just on a plane on that Monday afternoon, so I would
You
need,
do the 21st.
yes,
We'll be back.
I will be back.
Jaya and Jackie with the 21st.
The 21st works for me.
Yeah, I think that could work for me.
Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna book it right now so nobody gets it.
Okay.
And we'll do 3:00
3
again.
o'clock again? Okay.
And then we will, that actually works out really good because you guys will have already gone to council on the work session.
Yes.
So if council has any feedback,
Oh,
we will be
yeah.
meeting after that. We
Good
can talk
idea,
about
yeah.
how it went and continue working on the guidelines. And we'll have answers from Ashley.
And the council was the 12th, and that's, yes, that's on there. So it would be great if more than just a few of us could be there at that to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, I've got it on my calendar. I'll be there.
And I'll post it
Can you be
as,
there, Greg?
I'll post it with Tourism and Arts Commission, so that way if we have a quorum, we're still good, covered no matter what. And I'm gonna put this in here, we said.
And we still have an opening, right?
Yep, we still
Yeah.
have an opening, 21st at 3 p.m.
Oh my God, November has a bunch of stuff in it.
Okay. Any other additional items or topics? Are we good? Okay,
Right.
guess we will adjourn.
Right.
We are under an hour.
Oh, Jennifer.
Painless.
Yeah, you need to turn it off, but just occurred to me, like, oh.